Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. Well, it had to happen eventually, and well, it clearly is happening. And what I mean by that is the increasingly open and obvious challenge by authority to those of us who are, and in many cases have been for a very, very long time, been exposing and challenging the official version of global events. And for a long time, well, look at my case, for a long time we were just dismissed as nutters, crazies, in my case, completely insane and, almost historic levels of abuse and ridicule. But with the passage of world events, contrasted or compared with what people like me have been saying over the years is the plan to unfold, have brought extraordinary numbers of people compared with the past to look at the information. And what they're saying in these increasingly large numbers is, well, this actually makes sense of world events far more than what the authorities are telling us. And this has reached a point where those very authorities, the form of politicians and mainstream media and all these different aspects, have to start to see the challenge from the alternative media and decide what they're going to do about it. And those decisions have been made clear in very recent times with the speech at the United Nations by the British Prime Minister David Cameron, in which he equated ISIS with non-violent conspiracy theorists, basically. On the face of it, the remark was idiocy, kind of idiocy with which people like Cameron have become obviously very well associated. But it wasn't that kind of idiocy, because there was a method in it, and that is to start to equate in the public mind people challenging the official lies, mendacity of government with supporting terrorism or creating the information environment in which people would turn to terrorism. And you can expect a lot more of this. These are just some of the opening shots. I'll get to what Cameron said as we go along. And you can also expect more and more efforts to undermine, discredit, and altogether turn people against people like me and others, some of whom have been putting this out for decades now. And I guess the best example before Cameron's speech, this very recent in these very recent days, was what was said in a paper by one of what they call Obama's czars. This was a bloke a few years ago now called Cass Sunstein, and here's a report of what he'd like to do in relation to the subject we're talking about. Headline: Top Obama czar infiltrate all conspiracy theorists. Presidential advisor wrote about crackdown on expressing opinions. And it was what's described here as a lengthy academic paper. And Sunstein, the regulatory czar, does that mean he's regular? I don't know, maybe. And he argued that the US government should ban conspiracy theorizing. So you are deeply in to the world of 1984 and the whole Orwellian state of speech crime and thought crime. So he argued, and this is what this whole Cameron speech is about, and also the measures announced by the Home Secretary Theresa May at the Tory Party conference this week. This is what they are leading to and seeking to introduce. So let's just go through a few of these things. Among the beliefs that Sunstein would ban is advocating that the theory of global warming is a deliberate fraud. Well, it clearly is. And the evidence is overwhelming that it is. And it's a creation to justify the transformation of deindustrialization of global society. And to bring in something called Agenda 21. Google that if you're not aware of it. It'll blow your mind. Sunstein also recommended the government send agents to infiltrate, quote, extremists who supply conspiracy theories. See, this is the way the perception deception works. You hijack the definition of words and terms. So the government, even though it's terrorizing, bombing, slaughtering millions and millions of people in engineered wars and engineered famines and all this other stuff, engineered terrorism. Despite all that, the government is the reference point for morality and the reference point for moderation. No matter how extreme they are, they're the reference point of moderation. And so you have this garbage that's trotted out by these people like Cameron and Obama, where they talk about American values. We're safeguarding American values. We are coming from a point of British values. Well, both America and Britain have been bombing the shit out of people throughout modern history. And it doesn't matter because they're the reference point. So the idea is that because they are that reference point of morality and balance and peace and justice, that anyone that challenges them, exposes them for the liars, frauds and psychopaths that they are, is an extremist.